All right, it's my privilege and pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite a very special person, Mr. Upul Gamage, who is the president of the NCPCA, who will now address you.
Ayubowan, good evening. Nelson Not Out. Very welcome to the Nelson Not Out as we are celebrating the life of a great gentleman. When this event was to be named Nelson Not Out, we the committee were deciding what to call this. Usual thing is you call it the felicitation of Mr. Nelson Mendes. But then I said, no, let's do something different without telling it direct. Something like To Serve with Love, but then there's a movie already. So we were at a meeting with the event organizers, and one of the ladies, she had nothing to do with the conversation. She heard the name is Nelson Mendes, so involved with cricket, and she probably would have known the double Nelson, triple Nelson, etc., and how you get out at when you are on the Nelson. So she from a corner said, how about Nelson Not Out? So we all jumped at the idea, and it was such a good thing, we thought. The whole committee agreed except for one person. He was with a long face and he was not sure. He had a very scared look. So I asked Roshan Mahanama, why Roshan, what's the problem? He said, make a kamak nadda. I said, yeah, what's the problem? He said, nah, certain either. So the point is that he is such a respected person that the disciples of his would never ever call him anything other than Mr. Nelson Mendes, Nelson Sir, or Mendes Sir. So Roshan found it so awkward to call this Nelson Not Out, but then I said, don't worry, what a bannot kiyanna mamai kiwwe kiyala. So that's how Nelson Not Out came into being. And we thank the Infusion studio team for organizing this event, and Harindu and the team, thank you very much for volunteering to do this one, which is a great one. Once in America, there was a pub. This pub used to be frequented by an ex-army veteran, a Vietnam War veteran. Whenever he comes to the pub, people surround him and have drinks with him because he had so many nice stories, interesting stories about the Vietnam War. So one day he was narrating certain stories, and then there was a gentleman at another table. He heard the name. He went to him and said, are you Colonel so-and-so? He said, yes, I am. Then he said, why did you ask? He said, weren't you shot down in Vietnam on this day in flying this aircraft? He said, yes, I did. Yes, when you went for that flight, I packed your parachute. This gentleman who was at the bar is the one who had packed his parachute, and the same parachute, when his plane was shot down, he ejected and then he landed safely. Unlike today, we have the commanders of the Air Force here, where most of the things are automated. Those days, the parachutes used to be packed with bare hands manually. And if one or two things do not happen, it may not open up, and the person flying out will die. The story behind this is that the man at the pub was the star attraction because he ejected himself and he landed safely, although into the enemy hands, and he stayed in a camp as a prisoner of war. But the real hero is the one who packed the parachute. Today we have Roshan's, Asankar's, Kumar's, all of them flying high, and they are the stars. When you come in here with Roshan or Asanka or Kumar, there are endless selfie sessions happening here because they are the stars. But who did pack the parachute? We are here to honor the parachute packer today. That is Nelson Mendes. With this committee, Past Cricketers Association got together with the CCC School of Cricket and Mr. Roshan Mahanama as the chairman of the organizing committee. We embarked on this journey just less than a month ago. And I'm very thankful to the committee, Nilanthi Palihavadana Pereira, who was instrumental in proposing this together with Roshan and coming up with enthusiastically. Gamage Vikramasinghe, Manoj Siriwardana, and the CCC representatives headed by Harsha Piris coming forward, and also Mr. Varuna Ratnavira, who is also a junior cricketer of Nalanda, person of great repute, who is holding on to a letter written to him by Mr. Nelson Mendes, exactly 51 years ago. In fact, today on the Facebook I saw someone bettered that record. That's Brigadier Madhura Vijayavikrama, posted a letter written to him by Mr. Mendes 53 years ago. So, and also Ranjan Paranavithana, who joined our committee and managed all the media coordinations. The logo, what you see here on your brochure, was designed by Vasantha Siriwardana, an old boy. He was, when I called him, he was in America. Then I said, this has to be done. He said, Upul, I will somehow do it for sir, but tell him I'll give him an original to him. That's how much I revere him. I thank my committee of the Past Cricketers Association for assisting in this manner, and also the CCC School of Cricket. ඒ වගේම අද මේ අවස්ථාවට සහභාගී වෙනවා CCC සහ නාලන්දා ක්‍රිකට් ඇකඩමියේ දුවදරුවෝ. අපි ඔබ සැම ඉතා සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. මොකද ක්‍රිකට් ජීවිතයක් ගොඩනගනකොට ඒ ජීවිතය ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක සහ අපි හැමෝටම රොෂාන්ලා අසංකල්ලා කුමාලා මහේලලා වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ වගේ අති විශිෂ්ට ගුරු පියවරු යටතේ වැඩ කරලා ඒ ගුරු පියවරු යටතේ විනයගරුකව විනයක් ඇතුව තමන්ගේ ක්‍රීඩාවේ නියත වුණොත් පමණයි. අපි දැනට සිටින ක්‍රීඩා පුහුණුකරුවන් අතරින් ලංකාවේ විශිෂ්ටතම පුහුණුකරුවෙක් වශයෙන් මෙන්ඩිස් මහතා දෙන ආදර්ශය අනිත් පුහුණුකරුවන්ටත් ඒ වගේම ඔබ කුඩා සියලු ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩා කරන කුඩා දරුවන්ටත් මහඟු ආදර්ශයක්. ඔබ සැමට අනාගතයේදී දක්ෂ ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩකයන් වීමට මම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. When we talk of Mr. Mendes, what comes to mind is Sri Lanka cricket. Sri Lanka cricket attained test status in 1981, won the first test match in 1985, won a World Cup in 1996, and then had the golden era of Mahela and Sangha until about the 2014 and 15. The whole journey of Sri Lanka cricket, I'm glad to see the current president of Sri Lanka cricket, Mr. Shami Silva, my teammate, and the former president, Honorable Tilanga Sumatipala, here with us today. The Sri Lanka cricket today will not be what it is if not for the foundation that was laid by yesteryear people. Mr. Gamini Disanayaka, Mr. Robert Senanayaka, Mr. Ana Punchiheva, all of them supported the cricket board when it did not have much resources. To back up the cricket board efforts, there were coaches from different parts of the country who were actually not professional coaches at that time, but very knowledgeable cricketing coaches. They were, to take a few examples, from the Gaul side, there were players being produced by Major G.W.S. De Silva, Mr. D.H. De Silva from Kandy, and from our own brother school, Mr. Anrudha Polonnovita, etc., were the great coaches who produced cricketers without much resources those days. To add to this, Nalanda College had the Mendes brothers. We had Nelson Mendes from 1965 to 70, Mr. Lionel Mendes from 1970 to 73 rather. Then Mr. Nelson Mendes once again from 1975 to 80. I had the best of both Mendes brothers because Mr. Lionel Mendes, late Lionel Mendes, was my coach, original guru. And when I captained in 1979, Mr. Nelson Mendes was my master in charge. So you can say double toku because both were equally good disciplinarians. With these type of coaches only, players like Bandula Varnapura and the list of 26 names that you have on your brochure were produced. These are the gentlemen who are the foundation of cricket that started shining in 1996 World Cup. In the 1996 World Cup team, we had 3 players, Roshan Mahanama, Kumar Dharmasena, and Asanka Guru Singh. Who was their original coach? That speaks for why we are celebrating Nelson Not Out today. And this particular event would not be complete without the generous sponsorships that we have received in a very short time to conduct this event. Singer Sri Lanka, Mr. Mahesh Vijayawardhan, thank you very much for coming forward. Selinko Insurance, Dr. Jagadi Alvis. Laugh Gas, Mr. Tilak De Silva, ex-Anand the cricketer. Citizens Development Business Finance, Mr. Damit Tennakon. Ambion Group, Mr. Sanjeev Narangoda. Stafford Motors, Mr. Tharinda Kaluperuma. And also, the overwhelming response we got from old Nalandians, students, disciples of Mr. Mendes from Sri Lanka and abroad who contributed immensely, and then that's why we are able to hold this event very, very successfully and also to honor certain other personalities. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here today. On behalf of the Past Cricketers Association, I welcome all of you all to this event, to this momentous event where we are celebrating the life of a colossal gentleman, officer, and a great coach. Thank you very much.